Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses. And this is Point Within a Circle from the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry by Albert G. Mackey. Egyptian point within a circle. Point within a circle. This is a symbol of great interest and importance, and brings us into close connection with the early symbolism of the solar orb and the universe, which was predominant in the ancient sun worship. The lectures of Freemasonry give what modern monitors have made an exoteric explanation of the symbol, in telling us that the point represents an individual brother, the circle the boundary line of his duty to God and man, and the two perpendicular parallel lines the patron saints of the order, St. John the Baptist and St. John the Evangelist. But that this was not always its symbolic signification, we may collect from the true history of its connection with the phallus of the ancient mysteries. The phallus was among the Egyptians the symbol of fecundity, expressed by the male generative principle. It was communicated from the rites of Osiris to the religious festivals of Greece. Among the Asiatics, the same emblem under the name of lingam was, in connection with the female principle, worshipped as the symbols of the great father and mother or producing causes of the human race after their destruction by the deluge. On this subject, Captain Wilford, Asiatic Researches, remarks that it was believed in India that at the general deluge everything was involved in the common destruction except the male and female principles, or organs of generation, which were destined to produce a new race and to re-people the earth when the waters had subsided from its surface. The female principle, symbolized by the moon, assumed the form of a lunette or crescent, while the male principle, symbolized by the sun, assuming the form of the lingam, placed himself erect in the center of the lunette, like the mast of a ship. The two principles in this united form floated on the surface of the waters during the period of their prevalence on the earth, and thus became the progenitors of a new race of men. Here, then, was the first outline of the point within a circle, representing the principle of fecundity, and doubtless the symbol, connected with a different history, that, namely of Osiris, was transmitted by the Indian philosophers to Egypt and to the other nations, who derived, as is elsewhere shown, all their rites from the East. It was in deference to this symbolism that, as Godfrey Higgins remarks, Anacalypsis 2, page 306, circular temples were in the very earliest ages universally erected in cycler numbers to do honor to the deity. In India, stone circles, or rather their ruins, are everywhere found, among the oldest of which, according to Moore, Pantheon, page 242, is that of Dipaldiana, and whose execution will compete with that of the Greeks. In the oldest monuments of the Druids we find, as at Stonehenge and Avebury, the circle of stones. In fact, all the temples of the Druids were circular, with a single stone erected in the center. A Druidical monument in Pembrokeshire called Y Cromlech is described as consisting of several rude stones pitched on end in a circular order, and in the midst of the circle a vast stone placed on several pillars. Near Keswick in Cumberland, says Dr. Oliver, Signs and Symbols, page 174, is another specimen of this Druidical symbol. On a hill stands a circle of 40 stones placed perpendicularly, of about 5.5 feet in height, and one stone in the center of greater altitude. Among the Scandinavians, the Hall of Odin contained 12 seats, disposed in the form of a circle, for the principal gods, with an elevated seat in the center for Odin. Scandinavian monuments of this form are still to be found in Scania, Zealand, and Jutland. But it is useless to multiply examples of the prevalence of this symbol among the ancients. Now let us apply this knowledge to the Masonic symbol. We have seen that the phallus and the point within a circle come from the same source, and must have been identical in signification. But the phallus was the symbol of fecundity, or the male generative principle, which by the ancients was supposed to be the sun, they looking to the creature and not to the creator, because by the sun's heat and light the earth is made prolific and its productions are brought to maturity. The point within the circle was then originally the symbol of the sun, and as the lingam of India stood in the center of the lunette, so it stands within the center of the universe, typified by the circle, impregnating and vivifying it with its heat. and thus the astronomers have been led to adopt the same figure as their symbol of the sun. Now it is admitted that the lodge represents the world or the universe, and the master and wardens within it represent the sun in 3 positions. Thus we arrive at the true interpretation of the Masonic symbolism of the point within the circle. It is the same thing but under a different form as the master and wardens of a lodge. The master and wardens are symbols of the sun, the lodge of the universe or world, just as the point is the symbol of the same sun and the surrounding circle of the universe. To the above observations by Dr. Mackey, Brother Charles T. McClenachan adds these 2 paragraphs. An addition to the above may be given by referring to one of the oldest symbols among the Egyptians and found upon their monuments, which was a circle centered by an AUM, supported by 2 erect parallel serpents, the circle being expressive of the collective people of the world, protected by the parallel attributes, the power and wisdom of the Creator. The Alpha and Omega, or the thus seen here, representing the Egyptian omnipotent God, surrounded by his creation, having for a boundary no other limit than what may come within his boundless scope, his wisdom and power. At times this circle is represented by the Ananta, a Sanskrit word meaning eternity, a serpent with its tail in its mouth. The parallel serpents were of the cobra species. It has been suggestively said that the Masonic symbol refers to the circuits or circumambulation of the initiate about the sacred altar, which supports the 3 great lights as a central point, while the brethren stand in 2 parallel lines. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe and comment, and if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.